Hi everyone, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. Today I'm collaborating with my friend Sharon Luska, and we were supposed to be collaborating with our friend Nancy, the Handy Scandy, but she is feeling under the weather. Nancy, we love you. We hope you feel better soon. We are going to come back in January with a bonus stencil video. Let's look at the products I'm using today for this project. I'm starting with the Diamond Motif Slimline Stencil, which was recently released from Pink Fresh Studio. You can see that beautiful pattern on the back of the packaging. I'm going to use the Florals from the Pop Out Diamonds, as well as that die and the coordinating floral dies. This is a beautiful set. All of the Pink Fresh Studio products are gorgeous. Pretty Frames 2 is a staple that should be in everybody's collection. It not only cuts out a large, you could use this as one piece. As you can see, I have a small portion of it still put together, but you can also tear this apart and use sections of it, which is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be using one of the larger frames on one of my cards. Here is the beautiful modern layered florals. I'm going to show you a photo of it on the back. I do stamp this off camera for time's sake. I will come back and do the stamping in another video. And then I took it over to my brother's scan and cut machine and I cut it out. So let's start with our gel printing. I have a gel plate that is 5 by 7, and I am going to be using my Distress paints. I have not used these in a very long while, so I thought it was the perfect time to pull these out. I'm going to try to use it with the daubers, and you see that I am getting some paint coming out, but I'm not getting as much as I would like. So I'm going to do a test print with what I have. The way that I use my brayer, I have a large brayer right here. You can see that I'm lifting it. I'm rolling and lifting. I'm not just rolling it flat against that gel plate. Look at all the extra paint that I still have on my brayer. I'm going to spread it across, and then I'm going to lay down a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. That's the cardstock that I'm going to use for all my printing, stamping, and die cutting today. I bring in a smaller brayer, and I'm going to pull off my first print. Now, I'm not finished with that print. I will come back and use it again. I'm seeing if I can get any more of an impression with the ink that is currently on my brayer. I see that I can't, so I'm going to pour some more paint onto my gel plate. This time I'm going to be a little bit more generous. A lot more generous with the cracked pistachio, and I'm going to have to come back in with that salty ocean again and add a little bit more because that cracked pistachio is going to dominate here a little bit. So again, I'm mixing the two colors together. I'm seeing that I have just a little too much of the cracked pistachio. I want a little bit more of that salty ocean. So I'll pour a little dab. A little dab will do you when you're doing the gel print. This is so quick and easy. I am going to get 5 impressions, and this is going to take me 5 minutes. So I'm laying down that diamond motif. I did want to do A2 size cards and not slimline cards. I put my stencil over it, and then I laid down a clean piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I'm taking a smaller brayer. You could also lay a piece of copy paper over the front of that and rub it. As you can see, I had a lot of white space, but I did get a beautiful impression. But look at what's on that plate. You could let this dry and continue to build your colors, but I didn't want to. I really wanted to stick with the cracked pistachio and salty ocean, and I am going to lift this up and wait till you see. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness. So lovely. I am going to be using the darker pieces. The lighter pieces I may come back and do a second video. Here I'm going to get a light impression, but I have all that paint on my stencil and I don't want to waste it, so I do lay it down. I use my hand to rub it, and look at that impression. Another beautiful card base. So let's come back in with our brayer. Remember I said we're going to have all that ink left on our brayer, and I am going to go back and forth with a very light hand. You can see that that pattern is still there. That piece of paper was actually, I had did some gel printing with some distress ink, and I got a very light impression, so I thought, why not? Let's use that piece, and look at, now I have 3 pieces to use. I'm going to get another impression right here. Actually, I have 4 right now. This is my 5th one. I'm going to add it to the stencil, do some brayering, and I have another light background. I'm going to take all of this over to my sink and wash it immediately because you do not want that to dry on your brayer or your stencil. Here I'm bringing in that Pop Out Diamonds stamp set. As I said, I'm only using the florals from it. So I've added some VersaFine ink, and I am going to do some heat embossing with cracked pistachio embossing glaze. I did use my anti-static tool before I did the stamping. I did not show that on screen. I'm going to be very generous with the cracked pistachio. What I end up doing is I end up missing a spot on one of the florals. I will point it out to you. I come back off screen and fix that later on. So in my final photo, you will see that it does appear that all of the florals are there. I'm using the matching dies and taking it over to my Vagabond. I did cut that diamonds die out using vellum. So this is a vellum from Papertrey Ink, and I'm just using that portion as a template. So it's going to help me get those vellum diamond tiles back in a very even manner. So instead of trying to eye it myself and line everything up, using that piece of vellum, I can use it on another card. I knew I didn't want to use a full sheet of vellum on this. I just wanted these tiles to show on this card panel and let that card, that gel print, be the star of the show. So here I'm adding everything using some art glitter glue to those little diamond tiles, and then I'm going to start adding it to the template. I use that hinge so I can easily remove that piece of vellum. As I said, Nancy is feeling under the weather, so I am going to link her channel. She is a stencil guru. She loves stenciling. If you have not followed her, please make sure that you go over and follow the link. I will make sure to put one of her stenciling videos in the link below and show her some love. She is just feeling so terribly under the weather right now, and we want to make sure that we still support her even though she wasn't able to hop with us today. As I said, we are going to come back next month. Sharon and I just thought that it would be a great way to cheer her up a little bit while she's recuperating. So I'm using my art glitter glue on the back of those florals, very strategically placing it. With the thickness of this vellum, you can still see through it, as obviously you can see, but it doesn't show the art glitter glue if you over glue. It doesn't show it too terribly. So I do still end up strategically placing it behind the flowers, and there we have our card panel. There is a piece of that Pretty Frames too. I'm just taking that small little embellishment piece. I thought that it framed those diamond tiles beautifully, and it just broke up all of the blue and the cracked pistachio. It added a little bit more pizzazz to the card. I'm going to place this down center, and then I'm going to bring in my guillotine trimmer and I'm going to trim this panel down. I'm going to trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4. I will be using an A2 top folding card. I believe it's top folding. it is going to be Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock, so 4¼ by 5½. This is the sentiment that I'm using. It is from the Modern Layered Florals. I'm using the sentiment, "You are simply splendid," and I am going to stamp it directly to my print. I treated it with my anti-static tool, used the VersaFine ink. This is some Hero Arts white embossing powder, and look at how beautifully this embossed. Because I let that paint dry overnight, I didn't have any worries of there being any static or sticking of any wet paint, so that worked out really well. And that's typically what I'll do. Is if you really watched carefully the video, you'll see that my nails were red in the beginning, or more of a rose color, and now they're blue. I typically will do some gel printing, and then I'll set them aside and come back later and use them. This is some fun foam, and I have just cut it to fit the back of my cut down panel. I'm going to attach it to my card base, and there is the first card. Here we're coming back. I thought I was going to use that full section. You can see how it came apart nice and easy, but I decided that it was just a little too heavy and I wanted something a little bit lighter. To the right, I stamped that floral using Tumbled Glass, Salty Ocean, Cracked Pistachio, and Mowed Lawn. Those were the colors that I used. I have cut out the words "Happy Birthday." This is from a Pink Fresh Studio die set that I forgot to share. It's called Classic Words. They come with an outline die, but I didn't want to use the outline, the shadow on this particular card, so I have cut it out 4 times and I am stacking them together. I'm going to glue my card panel directly to my card base. Again, that's Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock. I'm going to glue my frame down directly to the panel. I will add some double-sided foam tape to the floral and pop the floral up, and then I'll add the Happy Birthday. So you can see it has the foam adhesive on the back of it. I did use foam tape. I'm going to put that center stage, and I love how this card is turning out. I'm going to add some art glitter glue. I'm trying to decide. I think I want it in that bottom left-hand corner, and I'm going to lay everything down. When I'm creating cards, I'm creating them with you. I do not do mock-up cards. I don't do sketches. I have an idea in my mind what I want to do, but everything that I put together on camera is very organic. I am a go with the flow type of gal. So here I'm adding that Happy Birthday, and I just don't like the white. So I think that it's a little bit too stark. I decide to come in with, I believe, a B00, I believe it is. It's a very light blue, and I am just going to carefully go over all of those letters. And then I will bring in some Nuvo shimmer pen. So I am going to link, as I said, Nancy's video, not one that she did for this hop, but another one in the description box below. I'm also going to link my friend Sharon Luska. If you have not seen Sharon, I know she's part of Team Tiny, so if you followed Team Tiny at any point, you know my good friend Sharon is amazing. She is the queen of coming up with ideas with very few supplies. She is so incredibly talented, creative, and has the spunkiest little personality. So please make sure that you head over to her channel, subscribe, show her some love as well. There I'm adding just that little bit of Nuvo shimmer pen, I'm going to take a Pink Fresh Studio Jewel and add it as my tittle, because the tittle for that birthday is itty bitty and I wasn't going to stack that. And that's going to be my card for today. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. If you liked what you saw, please make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell so that you're notified, and like this video. Your likes really help. I'm going to give you a couple looks at my card. Have a fabulous day.